most men, they haven't done the work. I don't like plus size women. It's just a preference. Tell me you have a little penis without telling me you have a
I
little penis.
can't.
I can't.
I just want to be down. I don't have the patience to teach you how to eat.
Yeah, are y'all thinking about y'all bodies in the moment?
I think yeah.
Well,
Sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
It
sometimes,
depends.
not
It
now.
depends.
Sometimes it depends. Now I teach yoga.
Hmm.
So not as much because we're gonna breathe through this. You're gonna breathe, you're gonna shed some things, you're gonna come out your shell and explore. I'm gonna come out my shell and explore. It's gonna be a very beautiful thing. So not as much anymore because I understand that connection with the breath, that connection with the body that transcends, and there's no mirrors, there's nobody watching. And then you might
Mhm.
feel confident enough to be like, "Ooh, let's make a movie."
Yeah.
After you get
Right.
past all of those hang-ups, it really starts with centering on the breath,
Mhm.
centering on, some positive affirmations or whatever. So, not saying that, most people come to me already on that level because they don't. They don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of men are just not there with their affirmations, stand on top of their mental health care, stand on top of their physical fitness, stand on top of their spiritual beliefs. Most men in my age bracket, and I'm going to say 38 to 50. I'm just going to, put that range out there. They haven't done the work. And so they leave themselves vulnerable to women's opinions.
Mm.
That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
I would agree to that, and I would say that they haven't done the work because they haven't seen the value in that.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. You think when you go to a yoga class that it's physical fitness, that you're going to get a good workout, you're going to get a good sweat. It's a work in,
Mm.
and it's a deep uncovering, more like a remembering of who you are before the world got its hands on you. And if nothing else, you learn to sit with discomfort for a time. Pain is not good. Discomfort is wonderful. It's a wonderful tool. You get through it, instant dopamine rush, kind of like the same benefit from kink sex or BDSM. When you get through those difficult times, on the other side of it is a release. um,
Mhm.
and it's the same little trick you play on yourself when you go deadlift. You got that 300 up, boom, I did that shit. You go ran 5 miles or whatever, it's done, you return. It's a dopamine rush to the brain, and it's a reward system that you can train yourself to become dependent on for, your levels.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm. See, what you loving about your body?
Everything.
Everything. Everything.
Everything.
Everything.
Um, because I look at things like differently, like how she spoke about scars and wounds and things of that nature. To me, those are unique things. Like that's your uniqueness. So when you have like a scar or a wound, it's just some like normally girls be like, "Oh, that's nice, that's cute." Like it's like so it's like
Mhm.
it is like it's your war wounds. So it's like even
Right.
when you're a kid, you fall down and you got that same scrape on your knee that you had since you was like 7. Those are your war wounds, and those just like life experiences. So it's like
Mhm.
I never looked at those kind of things in a negative. Like when I was younger, I might say like because I wanted to play ball, I wanted to be taller. But as an adult, like I don't think about that kind of shit. Like I'm
Mhm.
comfortable in my space, and I think that your body journey is learning. So once you
Mhm.
learn how to use your body,
Mhm.
I don't think you have issues with it. It's always going to be shit that you don't like or you like more than others, but I think
Yeah.
that it's
You
opportunity.
know that's a really profound and confident way to speak about things. You given big dick energy. For a lot of people out here that are not so confident about their bodies and not so confident about the scars and things like that, um, it's a barrier. It's one of those many barriers between men and women. He'll be the same guy, the guy with the little dick with no confidence. He'll be the same one going, I don't like plus size women. It's
Right.
just a preference. All
Right.
up in the comments, trolling and shit. Because he's hurting.
Mm.
He got to feel the need
Now he's
to
hurting.
go out and shame big girl.
Right.
And I'm like, tell me you have a little penis without telling me you have a
I
little penis.
can't.
I can't.
Why
I
is that?
cannot.
Why is that not like? That's why I always say that people should take those things as opportunities. So, all right,
Mhm.
you the little dick nigga, you should be the best pussy in nigga.
Right.
Some
Like,
niggas play basketball. Some
right,
you
Hey,
gotta get in where you fit in.
that's
right.
right.
You
Absolutely.
gotta. This is life. So,
Yeah,
Hmm.
in the grand scheme of life, you gotta learn adjustments. So
Yes.
that's what that is. You gotta learn
Yep.
adjustments.
And
yeah.
we've had conversations too, just in regards to it ain't the size of the who, it's the
It's
motion
the
in the ocean.
motion of the
Ocean,
ocean. That's some
the
bullshit, but
motion
I'll say it. Okay, I'll go along with
Not that some
it.
bullshit.
Okay. I'll go like, okay, if you say
of
so.
if you say so, Isha, you say so, Isha. Well, I'm gonna answer the question real quick. So, like, I think for me, physically, um, like I've concentrated like a good part of my life on just my physical appearance. And not so much because of me, but because of others.
Right,
Like it has just always been a thing. And I think T calls that pretty privilege.
right,
When you're pretty and all of that stuff, you know what I mean? It's just something that's just brought to the forefront a good part of the time. So for me, even though I have like a lot of flaws and a lot of things that I focus on, the main thing that I have grown to appreciate is the ability of my body,
right.
the ability of my pussy, the ability of my energy, the ability of my everything.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
that, my body, what it
Hmm.
can do, how it affects people, like you know what I mean, that you're exchanging with and all of that stuff. Like that's what I've grown to appreciate more so than I can say, okay, when I was younger I didn't have a big ass, but now I kind of got a big ass. Like I'm not focusing on that. I'm actually focusing on the ability of my body versus just
Hmm.
the physical
Hmm.
But
You,
yeah.
that's the thing.
but can I ask you a question? Does that
Hmm.
come along with having fulfilling relationships and friendships, or did you come to that conclusion all by yourself? Because the reason I ask is because a lot of times when we have insecurities about our body appearances, we measure it in terms of what we hope the people we're attracted to will think. Whether it's
Right.
a friend, a sister circle of girls you're trying to fit in with, or a certain
Hmm.
guy you might be attracted to, you want his attention.
Hmm.
You measure your appearance based on how attractive you may appear to them because that's where your eyes are set. So
Hmm.
did you arrive at that on your own and it just kind of came one day, or what was it like?
Yeah, I think I arrived on at that point or that stage on my own. I think for me it was just like a growth process. Like you talked about divorce earlier. I think a lot of things for me came after my divorce. And I just think like a lot of work that I did within myself kind of just brought me out of, hey, yeah, you're physically pretty, you're all of that. And everybody knows like I kind of transformed into the sexual space that I am now. Like I wasn't always as open and as free as I am to like discuss or talk or get into the raw honey business or all of that until after like my divorce. So it was like a new beginning for me and I stepped into like a new me. And it was
Hmm.
at that time that I started Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Transform it into this, okay,
Mhm.
out of the physical ish and into the more sexual ish, or into the more appreciating my body, what it can do, what I
Mhm.
can learn, how I can do it, how I engage with others sexually, all of that good stuff. So that was kind of something that I just removed everybody else out of the equation, and I kind of just came to it on my own, and just through my own shadow work, or just through my own
Mhm.
work. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
I
No,
Because
I
I
can
think
sense that. I can sense that in um just who you are and how you I see what you're doing. I applaud what you're doing,
Mhm,
especially with raw honey to
mhm,
empower others to explore the pleasure
mhm,
possibilities. But I
mhm,
can sense it because I've been in that same Phoenix phase
mm,
where you had to rise up from the ashes and really just start with the question of who am I?
mm,
mhm,
And
mhm.
then again, who am I?
All right.
Who am I for real?
mm.
And then when you take that journey, it's such a beautiful thing because you
Mhm,
inspire so many people. I'm talking about not just in your local community or family. I'm sure you lost some friends, but I'm sure you
mhm.
gained some friends
Oh yeah,
in that
absolutely.
rebranding and that recreating of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. What
I
was
think
everybody saying?
people I think people get lost in certain things sexually. So it's like people don't like people might not know or people might not understand the flat book bag butt girl. Like she's getting to it because she's used to this. Like she's used to this, so she's getting to it. The girl with the fat butt is more or less laying there because she's never had to do any work. She just walks around with her fat butt.
It's just
Right.
there. She doesn't have to do
It's
anything.
just there.
She's a
Yeah.
pillow
Yeah.
princess. So she's
Yeah.
a fat pillow princess. Okay.
I love her.
I'm gonna go with that theory. I'm gonna say that you probably right about that.
Yeah, for sure. How do we feel like, so now we were just talking about like the body part, like, you know, the body positivity, or just feeling comfortable in your body, etc. Now we can more like, you know, go over into the sex portion. What do we feel like the societal expectations, like things that society places on us,
Okay.
how do we feel that that evolves into like our sexual experiences and all of that stuff?
Societal expectations during sex. Um I think that there's certain things that's placed upon men as far as performance wise, whether it's short or long. Y'all don't want no minute man. You want a person who's like knows how to handle you, knows how to do foreplay. Um, it's a lot of things that are expected of the man.
Pressure to perform. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of things expected of the man and that pressure to perform. But I always tell women to try to give the man some kind of grace because most women, or maybe not most, but some women are different. So the way that you like things is not going to be the way that the next girl likes something. So you look
Right.
at him like he don't even know how to do X, Y. It's like no, the
Right.
last girl he was with liked it
Yeah.
like that.
Right. Right. That part. Yeah. No, I feel you. We talk all the time about women and fupas and different size bodies, you know, whether you're a size 16 or a size 4, feeling the need to keep up with anybody's beauty standards can cause us a whole lot of strife, a whole lot of stress. But you know, more than just what we look like, there's this can you cook? You know, can you clean? Do you have any skills? You know, can you be a mom manager? Can you be the CEO of our business and take care of our household and take care of our kids? So women feel some of that same pressure. I think largely for me, um, there's this there's this there's always this wondering if, you know, I'm the only one that he's seeing
Okay.
because nobody is going to be completely transparent about that in the beginning.
Right.
And I just don't like to waste my time. I'm not interested in, if a man comes to me and he's talking about kingdom things, I'm talking about polyamory. If
Right.
he's talking about kingdom work, kingdom building, kingdom things, I've had that conversation before and I'm willing to have that conversation. That's less about sex and more about community and family and legacy. And, um, I can have that conversation without feeling the need to perform to do anything. All I need to know is what are my skills and how can I contribute to the kingdom,
That's a fact.
regardless of what I look like. But then I go, well, no, I'm interested in a monogamous relationship. I'm interested in um, having raw sex with just this partner. I don't want to cohabitate. There must be some middle ground where we can have this trust and this understanding and still be hygienically sound. Um, and it's hard. It
So,
really is.
so do you have any expectations like hitting into sex?
Yeah. I don't have the patience to teach you how to eat pussy. I don't
See?
have the like it's not that I wouldn't try like one time. If you came at me like our first encounter and it's just like and I push you away,
Hmm.
like if I push you away, I'm at an age now where let's just stop and reset. I'm not gonna go through it. But 25-year-old Brandy would have gone through it, would have faked the orgasm, would have went through it anyway. We too grown for that. So if I'm not feeling it now, I'll just say, you know what? Let's just take a break. Let's just breathe. Maybe we'll come back to this later. There's no pressure to finish. And there's no pressure for
Okay.
me to fake it.
All right. So before sex, are you having conversations about how you like things?
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately,
Why is that
that's just my
unfortunately though?
because I don't know how we go from the bookstore to dick pics in like a week, but it is. It's like, yeah,
I
but we're
can't.
there.
I
You know what I
can't.
mean? We
Right.
talking first one, we talking about the 1619 project and W.E.B. Du Bois. Next time you sending me dick pics. So yeah, we're having to talk about pleasure. We're having to talk about what we like. But I as much as I talk, mystery is like my biggest dog in the arena. Like I want you to guess. We're not going to talk about body counts
See,
and experiences and all of the things that the mistakes that we made in our 20s. You got
see,
me now.
see, women
Mhm.
want men to guess, and then when the men guess wrong, now they're mad at the man. That's not fair.
Because it's like you should already know. Like what?
That's not
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Okay.
And don't ask me something that's going to make you judge me later or make you feel intimidated or make you feel less confident.
Like
Right.
as a man going into sex, I don't have expectations about your performance. I just have expectations about what I want. So if I want some foreplay, if I want some head, whatever it may be, but I'm not judging you on your performance. Like I don't have the expectation of your performance. I might judge your performance afterwards, but going into it, I
Yeah.
don't have an expectation of your performance.
Yeah, I got hit with that and I laughed. When I first got divorced, this is a true story, and if he sees it, then it just be. The world had just opened back up. Me and my cousin were in New Orleans walking on Frenchman Street. We ran into Anthony Mackie and
Okay.
his childhood friend Lloyd Watts. Captain America had just dropped. So, it was the streets were kind of empty. It was like a rare chance encounter. And when we saw it, I was like, oh, Captain America. Oh, okay, cool. So we're talking and everything. He was into my cousin. They got their thing on. I was into his friends. So we talking. And I said, I just got divorced and I hadn't been with anybody. I was married for 13 years. I really want to get out there. I just don't know how to start. Social media is scary. I just want to be digged down. And he said, I know what you want. I'll gladly do it. and we don't have to worry about it. And I was like, really? It was so cool. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's like, really? We can talk
That
and we can fuck and we can do everything and we don't have to have any things. Okay, thank you. Because I've been waiting for this. And it was a great experience, but he clowned on me after because he was like, you know, you can't suck dick, right? You just can't do it.
Oh
oh
man.
my
But
gosh.
I
So
needed to know
then
that. I needed to know
right.
those things. So
Right.
Right, because it might have been cool for the 13 years for your husband,
Right.
but just stepping into societal expectations or maybe even being equivalent or matching like possibly what somebody else did is it's pretty difficult to step into that space. So that's why I kind of posed that question because like let's just say for instance, when we talk about head or we talk about, even performance, writing, we talk about writing a lot. We talk about, just certain positions or the ability for your body
We talk
wise.
about effort. How about let's start
Effort.
there? Effort.
effort,
Simply put, effort, right. Um,
effort.
but do you comparisons to what society feels is like how you should be gawking
Mm.
or how you should be busting it open or how you should be, doing
Fucking
back
back.
shots and fucking back. Like,
Fucking back.
what do you find yourself doing when you're having your sexual encounters, whether it be with your person or whether it be a chance
Yeah,
meeting?
it's so funny that you said that. I can't believe I'm talking about this, but I really want to get your take on it. When I first started this, the first guy that I was seeing, I took a while. It took about a year before I started dating after my divorce. And I met this guy on Bumble, and we talked for about 3, 4 months before we met up in person. A lot of talking, texting, FaceTime, and everything like that. So I'm thinking, it was really good. And then when we did, he had a little dick.
Mm.
Mhm.
And so the best way for me to get off was to scissor with him, with
Bye.
him on top, like scissoring. And I already told
Bye,
you that
Brandy.
thing that goes back in my like that place where I go. So he accused me of being a lesbian, and I was like, no. I said, no, I'm not a lesbian. Actually, I love dick. You just got to know how to apply it. He said, yeah, but you fuck me like a girl. I said, well, that's the only way I can get off. And he's like, why? And I couldn't bring myself to tell him that he had
Yeah,
a
right,
small dick.
right.
But so have you ever had that sort of experience as a man with a woman who was just really aggressive? She was determined to just fit in whatever crevices on your body that she could, and you maybe thought she was kind of manhandling you a little bit?
I don't know to that experience. I've had to push off, like to hold you at a certain point.
Right.
So
Like you
yeah,
going too
yeah.
deep or you okay.
So it's a little bit different. Like I guess it's the adverse of that. So it is weird because like what the fuck are we doing? Like,
All right.
Yeah, I got you. But listen, so I don't know. I don't think I've um ever told this story. Probably not. But I had a similar situation, Brandy, that it never formulated into anything. But when you say small, like are and you're saying scissoring, are you saying like one of like the little
I
teeny
cannot.
mushrooms?
Like not teeny teeny, but
Okay.
pretty small, pretty like you can't wear Magnum small. Like the Magnum is saggy, small.
Okay. I gotcha. I
So,
got
it's average, I guess, for white guys. I don't know.
Not for
you.
white guys.
Bye.
Average.
Not for what?
Wait a minute. Was there like how was y'all fucking? Like what was the position?
He would either I would have to be on top and I would scissor, legs
Right.
crossed and get that way, or he'd have to be on top and scissor for it to be
Right.
because but from behind it keeps slipping out.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
just a regular straddle, it keeps slipping out, and then it's so frustrating. And so that's like the best way for me to like lock it in, and I know that I'm actually trying to make the most use of our time. um but I also know that this is not going to be able to sustain me. I'm not exactly a pillow princess, but I don't want to do all the work every time,
Yeah,
babe.
maybe that
God,
maybe
Yeah,
dog.
that's
Like,
may-
I don't
true.
want to do
maybe that was just two bodies that weren't aligned.
Yeah,
all
that's true. That's true. Because
that too.
I was getting ready to say, like, what if, he was that size, but he worked you crazy.
That if that were the case, then we probably would have made it. But not only that, a couple of other things like heart of gold, jewel, pillar of the community, volunteer, military service, IT.
I love her.
Love him
Running it
on the
down.
surface, but I know that that was not going to sustain me in private. And not only because not reducing him to like meat or the size, but
Right.
because he wasn't interested in getting
Right.
better, and
See,
he
it's the
shamed
effort.
me.
It's
Yeah, he
always the
shamed
effort.
me for the way that I did, and he already let me know that he felt intimidated or that I might be into women. And I was like, no, I've been with women before, but I really do like men. He had a hard time believing that because of the way that I preferred to do it. So trust,
Right.
mainly trust, communication. But he was a great guy. Just it was never gonna work.
Right. What is your answer to the original question, Ish?
Yeah, I mean, my thing is absolutely positively. There are times, I ain't even gonna hold you. There are times where I'm thinking of, let's see, let me pick one of my little favorite porn chicks. Brandy, I have a lot of girl crushes too.
Yeah.
Just
We
so you
like
know.
beautiful bodies.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But let's just say, I don't know, Skin Diamond. She's one of the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
just say Skin Diamond. I like her. She's like one of my faves. But let's just say, she sucking the dick crazy.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna be like, okay, well, let me try to see if I can do that little something. So I feel like that at times, you can rely and you go to what your skill is,
Hmm.
but then you also at some point before, during, or after think about, what can I do better? How can I do it better? How can I do it like this? What
Mm-hmm.
trick can I do? What
Mm-hmm.
this can I do? What
Right.
can I do to try to blow his mind? What can I like, you know what I mean? There is at
Right.
some point.
See
Like,
that right there, that's some toxic shit right there though.
I
Why
know.
is
Thinking
that
that
toxic? Why is that toxic?
like trying like setting out to blow somebody's mind, or
Yes.
I don't
that's
think
some
that's toxic.
toxic shit
I
because
don't think that's toxic.
He
there's
don't think that's
nothing.
toxic because he would want his chick to set
Yeah.
out
Yeah, you
to
would
blow
want your
his
chick to
mind.
do that. Yeah, I
Right.
don't want to
Right.
manipulate you with pleasure. Your pleasure is your own. And unless
Okay.
you have that wrapped around your head, the same way you have a healthy sense of confidence, a healthy sense of purpose, your pleasure belongs to you.
Right.
Even if we're in a relationship, I'm not offended if you want to jack off. I'm not offended. You're not going to be offended if I want to take a shower with my shower head and
I
spend a
might be.
little longer
I,
time
I
there.
might be a little offended.
You might be. Really? Tell me more about that. Tell me, really.
I might be a little offended in the sense of I like, can I watch at least, like, goddamn, like
Right.
I don't
You
mind
doing
that
it
you're
by
doing
yourself.
it. Yeah, I don't mind that you're
Uh,
doing it, but at least let me watch. Like, if I'm present, like, it's different if I'm not present. But if I'm
yeah,
present,
yeah.
why are we doing it separately?
I need to wrap. Okay, here's a thought. They used to say that the best sex is the sex that you sneak in to do, right?
Right.
Illicit affairs,
Right.
behind the bleachers, whatever,
Right.
Hmm.
afternoon quickie. And so as a woman, I might need that. I
Okay.
might need to go and get one off on my own after you left because it's mine and it makes me feel better that you don't know about it,
Okay.
Mm.
right?
That sounds a little toxic.
It is a little toxic. It is a little toxic, but it returns to the notion that my pleasure is mine.
Right.
My pleasure is mine. Yours is all yours. We have this gift of exchanging each other's energy and experimenting with each other's body and trying to get each other off. That's great.
Mhm.
But I have the right. You have the right.
I don't know if it's like a power trip thing, because if you're my person, I'm me jerking off is never going to be better than me having sex with you.
Mhm,
Right.
So
mhm,
I'm not going to
Mhm.
choose that over having sex with you. I'll choose that as an alternate,
mhm,
Right.
but I'm not going to be like that's my
mhm,
go-to.
Right.
mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah, it's a hard time. I've had a hard time trying to get guys to beat off in front of me. Like I've asked them, like, would you
Oh no,
just
that's
do it and
fine.
let me watch?
Yeah,
And
that's
then he's
fine.
like, well,
yes,
like
love
in
it.
between, he want to stop and he want to go. No, I just want to watch. I just want you to watch from
Yeah,
beginning to
that
end.
that's why I
Mm.
asked about could I watch when you said about in the shower. my
Right.
my 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 whole thing is like I wouldn't mind the jerk off in front of you. It's the it's only the jerk off because I can't have you. That's what I would mind.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that can be a useful tool too. It's a little toxic, but it can be
Right.
very useful.
Yeah.
A lot of toxic.
So there's this thing that we do that she will do and he'll be like, hold up, hold up, hold up. I call bullshit.
Right.
Okay. And I'm gonna call bullshit on you, Miss Brandy. And let me tell you why I'm calling bullshit on you, Miss Brandy.
Okay.
Because founder of FENIX,
Uh-huh.
Yoga with Brandy,
Uh-huh.
um, the aura, the energy,
Mhm.
the that you're not going to tell me that you have never seen a man or have never come in contact with a woman and you will be like, I'm going to fucking blow his or her mind.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like, I
mean,
know it's
it's
toxic,
yeah,
as
it
you might
is.
say,
Yeah,
but the thought,
I
yes,
have set out. Me, unfortunately, I'm more cooperative than I am competitive.
Yeah, see, I'm a
okay.
competitor.
Mm,
See, you have to have that, mm, to
mm,
like, who is he currently fucking, and what can I do to change that? Like, you got to be something competitive to even go down that route. And like I said, confident in your abilities, and um, you got to be good with the mind games. Get him in a
yeah.
space where he can even hint to what he likes, and then you make him an offer he can't refuse.
Views. Yeah. See, now for me, I will say, like, I never have ever thought, like, in the beginning of like situations when you like deal with, an individual, whether it be a new person or whatever the case may be, I've never once thought, hey, what can I do to be better than who he's possibly fucking?
Right.
Right? I've like, but I've also said in my mind though, but I'm going to do some shit. But I'm going to do some
Right.
shit. I'm going to be
Right.
niche, or I'm going to amp it
I'm
up, or
wearing
I'm just going to
this.
just
Yeah,
right.
can't
I'm
put this
wearing this.
on.
I'm dripping the sex
Mhm.
appeal, or I'm just giving off that natural energy that I have type
Mhm.
situation. But I never really like think on, all right, well, is that bitch sucking his dick like a certain
Right.
way,
Yeah.
and I'm
No,
gonna
no.
do it like. There are people who do that and who say that though.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's
Yeah.
how they gear their energy. Like, oh, I'll bet you any amount of money I'm sucking his dick better than that bitch. Like, that
Right. There
type of
are,
thing.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
That's
type of thing.
that's it. But I have friends on one or the other end of the spectrum. I have one friend who is only ever going to be side chick. She loves dating married men. She swears by it. She's getting flown out. She's got trips. She's got no strings attached. She's got no kids, no no follow through. And she feels free. She is completely fulfilled in that way. Let her tell it. I don't think she is. I have other friends who are on their second or third husband,
Right.
and they've been through different versions of themselves,
Right.
but they really love love. They really love family. They really love building and want to be a part of the community and everything. So they keep trying at it. And if you've known them long enough, you'd be like, you were a different person the first
Right.
time and the second time, and now you're this. So I always wonder if that meant that they performed differently in the bedroom, and if they ran the household different. I got questions because this is a whole new version of you.
Right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes you learn.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, so like a lot of the times too, I find that women are ashamed. What do we say, T? Like,
What?
what is this taboo? Or
Right.
we talk about like sex and taboo, being ashamed of your sexuality, being ashamed of your body, being ashamed of,
Being ashamed of being free, being ashamed of a lot of shit.
yes. And that also causes for a lot of blockages with connecting with your partner. So if I think about Auntie June, who said sucking dick causes cancer.
I can't.
What was that on? What movie was that on? I forget.
I forget.
Um, that
Fake news.
now I don't want to suck dick. I just want to peck a little bit because
I
like
don't
I'm
think sex could
afraid.
be good. I don't think sex could be good if you're fucking me on restriction.
Yeah, I would agree. But do you understand that that's a lot of the sex right now?
Right. That's
Hmm.
why
Sex
it's
on
trash.
restriction?
Yeah,
That's why it's
Hmm.
it
trash.
is. Yeah. Yeah, people are still fucking. People are
Right.
fucking with less freedom and less information and more, definitely more barriers
I call it
between.
Yeah.
intercourse. I call it
Yeah,
intercourse.
Intercourse.
It's not
Hmm.
yeah,
fucking it. It's intercourse.
yeah. Well, that's another thing. That's another good point. You talked about like what the interview looks like from meeting to the point of the first encounter. Um, I got a disclaimer. I'm a regular old freak. Don't come up in here and talk about sticking things in my ass, me eating your
Not a
ass,
re not a
or
regular
you
freak.
do. I'm a regular ass freak. Don't come in here asking me to eat your ass, toss your salad, telling me you gonna do all of these things. I'm like an old school freak. I don't know what y'all doing with all these new
I
things and asses.
can't. I
So
can't. Well,
this
you
is
got
a
to hear some of
disclaimer.
these conversations that we have, because
Wait a minute. So do you stop him if he tries to do it to you?
Oh yeah, I do. Me
you
personally,
do.
I don't like it. Yeah, I stop him. Yeah, I don't want because I like to
What you?
kiss. I like to kiss in the mouth. And
And so
there's
you don't like
something
ass
that
just
yeah, you can't go back and forth.
okay, but what if he goes and eats the ass and then goes wash his mouth and brush his teeth?
Now it's too much. Now
Yeah,
it's like
she's thinking
a
about it. She's
wardrobe
thinking about it.
change. Now we
So
got a
not
whole
to
set
get,
and crew. Mm-mm.
I know, not to get all in your business, but do you like anal sex or no?
I do. I do
Oh, okay.
actually. I just don't want you to put your mouth there and then kiss me.
Right.
Right. Okay.
So,
I got
it
you.
just depends. And I only like it a certain way. Like I had to have somebody, that's a I guess a conversation for another day. I had to have somebody turn me on my side and ease into it and lube properly and relax and
Mm-hmm.
before I could actually get some pleasure out of it. The
Gotcha.
first time I tried it in my 20s, it was like, oh my God, why would anybody do that?
This is nuts, nuts, nuts.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
on that same topic, we tried it and we did it often because I wanted to. If a man is asking me constantly to do it, I think he's gay.
I can't. I don't.
Oh shit.
Do a man ask y'all that? Like,
If he
Oh,
keeps hounding
not
me about
ass.
it, I think he's
yeah,
got
yeah,
a
yeah.
past. He's got a history.
See,
Mm-hmm.
my experience, when shit gets extra freaky or extra nasty, it's those are not even conversations. Those are just
They
natural
just
habits.
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just
we
happen.
just getting at it, and now we just doing shit.
Oops, it
Yeah.
slipped in. Oops. Yeah.
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 But if he's like, I had a boyfriend when I was younger. Yeah, y'all have again, when I talk about my past, there's this huge split because I was married for a while
Yeah.
Let's
between
say
the
before marriage and after marriage.
After
before
marriage.
marriage, after marriage, right? After marriage sex is way better. Before marriage sex, you're just finding yourself. And when he kept asking me about it, along with some other things about his personality, I just started to suspect that he liked men and he was closeted.
Because of like the anal stuff or just certain things
Yeah,
that he
because it
said.
was a big deal. Because
Maybe
he kept
maybe he felt
asking for it every
maybe he
time.
felt like he wasn't pleasing you the opposite way.
No, he would give me oral. He would do other things. We would have decent sex for
See how you
25 year
saying
olds.
that? See how you saying that
Decent.
now? Right. We had decent sex.
Right. So
Like
T, maybe
mind
you
blowing sex.
sex. I know. T,
Hmm.
maybe you can attest to this.
What's up?
Brandy, do you feel that um men consent when you're not being pleased?
Oh yes. Oh, but not always.
Okay.
Most of the time, I'm a little bit spoiled. I'm a little bit spoiled for a very patient lover who is very attentive, very in tune. He can feel it. He won't stop. He will stay on that spot until I'm there and he's okay with it. That to me is gold because I have many experiences before where they came too quick or we didn't have the chemistry to want to do it. We were just going through the motions. So had a range of different experiences, but sometimes they can't tell if you fake it. And I've faked it before, and they don't know the difference. And then sometimes um, uh, they might misinterpret, some things, and in their mind it feels good to you, but they keep going, and then you leave sore or irritated, or it was a very unpleasant experience for you because they had it wrapped up that they, in their mind that they were doing the right thing, and you didn't speak up about it.
Right.
That's the running, Joe.
Hmm.
So sometimes when a girl is running, it's not because you're doing great, it's because you're hurting her or she don't like it.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's based in the intentions, I would say, Ish.
Mm.
So what are my intentions during that time? Is my intentions to make sure that she's enjoying herself, or is my intentions based in am
Just
I
the
just trying
nut.
to get her? So it's
Right.
based in my intentions. For the guy who's paying attention to your body, he should know, the goods or the bads, and he should be able to feel that energy. That's why I said
Hmm.
I think women should speak up more or be more physical in those situations. That's why I said hold his head there. That's fine. like, like
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's times though, I can't, even if I am holding your head there, I can't force you to grow some new
Shit.
muscles in your tongue.
I
Like
can't.
if I'm holding your head
Like,
there
let me stop.
and your tongue is still not working to its full capacity, lips and all of the whole thing, you know what? Let's just push off. Let's just go. Because mature me knows, and I have no problem breaking out the toys or whatever if we have to, and I'm really frustrated and I just want to help us both out.
Mhm.
I'm going to do everything I can, right? I'm going to do everything I can to communicate with you without it being, like a kindergarten
Right.
teacher. I tend to talk like a kindergarten teacher sometimes when I'm explaining something. I want to ruin the mood, but nigga, this is not working.
Oh, I know.
Let's
Do
try.
you do that during the session, or is that something that you, and I think I've asked this before, like, is it more common for you to like talk about this during the act of things, or is this something that after it's all said and done and you've it's
Yeah.
been mediocre, and then you
Yeah.
discuss, hey, this is why this has
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. It's not, that conversation is not going to happen after. It's going to happen during with some guidance, and then after, we're probably going to just slowly kind of drift apart
See, this is
until
why
I
the-
don't call
the-
you back. It's not going to
these
happen
these
after.
these instances is why women get on my nerves.
I get
But
it.
Because
if you did it right though, then we having pillow talk immediately after on all the things
Right.
you did right.
no, I'm saying that these instances are why women get on my nerves, because sometimes two people are just sexually incompatible. So that is a thing. Sometimes two people are just sexually incompatible, and sometimes the woman is mood based when she's fucking. And
Mhm.
that's the part that gets on my fucking nerves.
He hates that. He hates mood-based sex or mood-based. I'm not giving you no pussy because you made me mad
Right.
earlier
Yeah.
today.
No, yeah, no. We're not
He
gonna
hates that.
weaponize your pleasure. That's another
Right.
thing. That goes back to the pleasure principle. The pleasure is yours. It's
Mhm.
all yours.
Mm,
And I don't have the right to deny you friction.
Mhm. Because we had friction
Because we
earlier
have
that day.
mm,
friction, because I'm in a mood, or to use
Mhm.
that to weaponize or even be transactional. Some women get caught up in different levels of prostitution because they see that exchange as transactional, and it takes some unlearning of some things there, some generational things for you to be able to approach it from a healthy, non-toxic perspective. Um, oh my goodness, that's a whole nother conversation. Because we were taught that our pussies have value, and
right,
if you're with a man, if you're having sex with him, he should be paying for X, Y, and Z. Because if he's not, then why are you fucking him?
right,
Until you start to poke holes in some of those things later.
right.
Mhm. Mhm. And then like it doesn't even add up. It don't
Right.
even align all the time.
Yeah, there's nothing that you could possibly pay me for the portal to the universe, nigga. This is
Right.
like this
It
is
is
no
like,
dollar amount that's gonna be worth it
yeah.
for you to
Maybe
meet God in my pussy. No.
maybe maybe it's just a thing of the people that are having intercourse don't like each other.
That could be it. But see, then that's where the fraud behavior comes in at,
Right.
because then you have people that, going about their day to day in relationships, partnerships, situationships, whatever, just because whether it be convenience, whether it be to have somebody there, whether it be for goals, but then really in reality, I don't even like this motherfucker enough to want to bust it open, to
Right.
want to experience these things with him, to want to do anything, to want to suck his dick, or to want to eat her pussy, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like now we're just having intercourse, the act of
Right.
I
Yeah.
stuck my dick in your pussy, or you rode my dick, or whatever the case may be last night.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. A
that's
lot of
bad.
that a lot of that comes, some people got it all figured out while they're still young. I'm not one of those people that was lucky enough to meet the one person in high school that I was going to stay with for the rest of my life. But I hear stories. I don't know anybody like that in real life, but I hear stories.
I do. I do. Straight
You
from high
do?
school. Yes.
Yeah. And still
It-
together?
Still together.
Oh
Married,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
kids.
I know those. It's sad, but I know.
Not it's sad. What if it's the best thing that has ever happened to them?
You don't know that because you haven't had any experiences to
It
compare
is.
it to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can just imagine that. Wow, you saved yourself a lot of trouble. Y'all, I hope y'all have fun
Right.
experimenting, exploring each other. But I had to go through some of these
Right.
things to figure out what I liked.
Facts. That's a
Mhm.
fact.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. That's true. So what do you guys feel like can be done for people to rid themselves of the shame that comes along with sex sometimes?
I don't understand why they're ashamed.
Mhm.
You
Well,
should.
I think
If
we,
you feel
yeah, no,
shame, you shouldn't be having sex.
well, we had that we touched on that discussion earlier about the, with the saggy titties and the scars and the stretch marks. Breaking down those layers and giving those voices in your own head less value is where
Mhm.
it begins. It really is a self-love journey. It really is a confidence journey, a kind of awakening. I recommend everybody go to a yoga class because if you're doing it correctly, if you're breathing through, if you're connecting body, mind, and spirit,
Mm,
you are empowering yourself with a total view of yourself with no mirrors. You rarely
Mhm.
see any mirrors in a yoga studio because it's not like the gym. It's not a performance based activity. This is for you to experience through your senses and return to yourself.
right.
So there's a lot of other ways. People use psychedelic plant medicines to return to themselves. People use um, gospel music or in religious encounters in church. There's a lot of different ways to be on the path to yourself. But I think
Mhm.
with total freedom, away from the constraints of religious or societal expectations, you need to go into a yoga class.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it correctly, you're going to do some very tough things and some very easy things. And when you come out of it at the end, you have nothing but a dopamine high generated from your cells, your chemicals in your brain. No
Mhm.
additives
Um,
or preservatives.
I want to try yoga so
to
bad.
to answer your question, Ish, I would say, so they don't feel ashamed. They should start with self love. They should
Mhm.
start with learning themselves, what they like by themselves, and things of that nature. I speak to being not a whole person, but a comfortable person with yourself.
Yeah,
That's what I would say.
that's where it
Mm-hmm.
starts. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
would agree with both of you. Like, I feel like, like, and I tell T this all the time, and like, Brandy, we probably haven't like had many conversations about this, but like, I'm shamed for liking what I like, selling what I sell,
Mm-hmm.
expressing how I express.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, your
Mm-hmm.
sex life must suck. Like
Right. I'm
you
sorry for you. I hope you heal.
I'm
Yes.
sorry for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like what I eat doesn't make you shit or vice versa. So
Or
like,
maybe it's not a shame on you because they're boring.
right. This is
Mm-hmm.
true. This is true.
Or
But I just
inauthentic. It's
Mm.
it's a,
right.
it's a jail. It's kind of like watching a bird in a golden cage just flapping its wings,
No,
and the
totally.
cage is like they can't get out, but they're gonna still flap, 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 running up against the walls of the cage, and you're like, dude, I want you to free yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like, like people will want to, they love this shit. Like, to be honest, they love this shit, but it can only be under a societal norm. Like, it can only be this way, or it can't be this way because
Or
such and such
unknown.
might see.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unknown.
Hmm.
They don't
The
want it to be known.
unknown. They don't want it
Yeah.
to be known. But they really do love it. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I probably used to live in that cage. I
Yeah.
ain't even gonna lie.
Or
But
even if they love it, they don't want it to be talked about publicly.
Yeah.
right. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like,
It's spending some time in Europe last summer and just having a different perspective on the naked body, on sexuality and appearance. Like they don't have no problem showing they little man meat at
I
all in
not the
public
little man
statues.
me. Why I
Little
gotta be
man
this little though?
public statues all up in
Right.
Amsterdam, and you like, damn, they should have covered that up. They don't have no problem because that's the norm,
Right.
and on even on the TV in the hotel room. So then they started to cry. I was like, these puritanical motherfuckers that started this country were some hypocrites. And we're all living in the shadow of that.
That's a
We're
fact.
Hmm.
all living in the shadow. I mean, there was some things that we value about the old school. and they talk to us about it. Oh, well, when I was your age, we used to have to court a woman, and we didn't sleep before sex, no sex until marriage, and we didn't do this. And who the fuck were these hypocrites? And why
Right.
is everybody so repressed?
Right.
That's why
Right.
y'all got family secrets that haven't come out, and real healing hasn't taken place
Right.
because y'all are some fucking hypocrites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's
It
why
takes bravery, courage to choose to not be a hypocrite.
mm-hmm.
So are y'all both comfortable naked?